now that you're not driving, what's your gig on a race weekend?
For Corvette racing, yes. The deal is we have, I work here as an ambassador for Corvette racing as well as an advisor. Having been around here since the program started, they decided to keep me around a little longer. So it's enjoyable to continue to be part of it, and certainly coming to Le Mans is always very, very special. Of all the races, this would be the one I miss the most, but it's also the most difficult and the one that I learned where the limitations were in terms of age and expectations. So it's a really, really special event, and this is the 13th consecutive year that Corvette racing has been here. 7 wins, and going to be tough to get one this year, but we've had a great run, and cars have been fast. We've been competitive. As always, there's windows of time in the 24-hour race where wild stuff happens, and the 80th running has been no exception for Corvette racing.
You mentioned that the boys have broken some stuff over the night. How serious has all of that been?
Yeah, the guys have the 4 cars had some issues with a couple of prototypes, and far from a record in terms of bodywork. And I'm not sure what year it was. It may have been 05 or 06. Both cars were wrecking stuff on a regular basis. We went through multiple sets of bodywork for both cars to the point where the show car, Gary Claudio, who was Chevy marketing, ended up getting someone to, in the middle of the night, unlock the hospitality area so the crew could go and pillage the show car for bodywork. And we got down to we had nothing left, and it was multiple sets of bodywork. It was a crash fest for Corvette and for Aston. It was just one of those strange races where bad stuff happened, and it seemed like it was about every 3 hours. So we've got a good pile of charity auctionable parts and pieces.
Do you foresee any Canadian drivers coming into sort of the fold, as far as you're the only Canadian here?
Yeah. Well, let's hope so. We've got there's certainly a number of great Canadian drivers on the horizon, and there's a couple of young guys that are focused on endurance racing. Kyle Marcelli is trying to carve his way in the ALMS series. Michael Valiente is in a Corvette Daytona prototype, helping out with Spirit of Daytona in the Grand Am series. So there's you never know. There's 2 young guys that obviously have a focus on endurance racing, and hopefully get an opportunity to come to Le Mans. It's just a fabulous experience, and an absolute for 10 years driving, an absolute highlight for me every time we came here. It's a very, as I said before, it's a very, very, very tough race. Run a marathon and being one of 3 drivers in a 24-hour race is tougher, especially here. This is one very, very tough track, but incredibly rewarding when you get good laps and get a fast lap. It's just one of those tracks that you get an incredible adrenaline rush when it's right, and it also can be extremely intimidating when things don't go right.
Speaking of intimidating, Canadian Tire Motorsport Park, aka Motorsport, I know some of us will always call it that, you included probably. We've got a whole new crop of fans that have been coming out because of the marketing partnerships and whatnot. What can people who've never been to an American Le Mans race, what do you think they'll think on their first time out?
As you say, the partnership that we've been able to establish with Canadian Tire has been terrific so far. The Victoria Day weekend, where we had the NASCAR NASCAR Canadian Tire Series and Trans Am and some single-seater stuff. The Porsche Series, Canadian Touring Car Championship. The response was overwhelming. Just an incredible turnout. Carlo and I and Miles were up on the hill about a half hour before the start of the Canadian Tire Series race, and we're looking at all the new parking area we created, and it's like, wow, there's a lot of cars here. And it was great to see young families, lots of strollers around, just tremendous. And with the new sort of family fun zone that Canadian Tire has established in the infield, and we're just trying to figure out where exactly to put that on a permanent basis. That was obviously we got lots of emails from young families and mothers in particular talking about how great it was to have this family fun zone and an opportunity for the kids to you know, play, and the parents an opportunity to relax a little bit. We struck gold in terms of the weather for Victoria Day weekend. So you know, for the American Le Mans Series, these are very, very sophisticated race cars, world-class teams and drivers. What you see here in Le Mans, the best of the best will be there, and certainly in the GT class. You've got the Ferrari team that runs in ALMS, and in North America, obviously Corvette Racing, the Porsche Flying Lizard team. They're here, and generally the class of the field. And we just you know, we'll hope for a great weekend in terms of weather, and it'll be a spectacular weekend. We've got a great lineup of racing, and the highlight obviously is the American Le Mans Series, where stars of Le Mans will be there.